Hi, I'm Andy, and welcome to a Watch Crave video. Today, we'll be having a look at this watch and how you can build one. If you are interested in creating your own watch, but don't know where to start, then this video is for you. The watchmaking kit featured in this video is a product of Namoki Mods. They are a Singaporean company that specializes in providing components for watch modding hobbyists. Aside from parts, they also offer watchmaking kits like this one for those who are brand new to the hobby. Watchmaking can be quite intimidating with all the different parts and tools you need in order to start. These kits aim to be a solution as they come together with all the parts and tools you'll need to build your very first watch. This kit was kindly provided by the company. In return, they asked me to give an honest review for it. So thank you Namoki Mods, and let's get started with the build. Alright, let's see what we've got. So first we got the kit, and then a couple of containers for the parts. And then we also got a leather strap. So this itself is pretty self-explanatory. And then inside one of these containers. So this came slightly damaged, but that's not their fault. It's my local post office fault. Pretty munted, but everything inside is still good. So I believe this is the case. It also comes with a little rubber gasket. That's pretty cool. And then here we got the case back and also the handsets. And then on this one, so this should be the movement. Yep. We also got a pre-cut stem, which is pretty good. And then this should be the dial. And then finally, this is the kit. The box is pretty generic. Okay, so let's lay it out a bit. Okay, so we got some stickers. Thank you for modding with us. This is the assembly instruction. And then in the kit, we've got an air blower, some hand setting tools, a loop, an eye loop. This is a case holder along with some rudder coat. What else do we have here? We have, I believe this is a spring bar tool. We probably don't really need this. A case knife, which can be used for opening a case or undoing a bezel. Some pegwood, very useful. Oh, what the heck is this? The set of the tweezer. Okay, so let's go back to this. So we got a case opening tool, some what do you call it? Finger cuts? Yeah, finger cuts. That's what they're called. And then a set of screwdrivers. These are the hand remover tools and the tweezer, which is probably the most important tool that you'll be using. And of course, this is for helping with removing the hands. So you put this at the bottom and then you use these handset, and this will prevent the dial from being damaged. Tweezer, oof. Does not feel very nice. Usable, but could be better. Sweet. And that is what you're gonna get with the kit. Let's get us started on our assembly. So I'll put on 3 finger cuts. You don't need to put it on all fingers. In reality, you only need these 3 fingers. And your right hand or your dominant hand is probably okay to not have them, since you won't be touching the dial and such with the right hand. It will mainly be with your other hand. And what else is there? They actually will give us quite a lot of finger cuts. It's quite nice. So these will get dirty eventually, so you have to switch them out. But it's good. So let's start off with the instruction. All right. So step number 1. So first we'll need to trim the correct dial legs and make sure to trim it off at 2 dial legs at 3 and 9 o'clock. It's highlighted below. So right off the bat, we can see that we are missing a movement holder. So it's actually, let me just find mine. It's actually one of these. So this did not come with the kit. I'm not new to modding, this is my own one. So if it's not necessary to have this, but it does help with the whole assembly process. You can also use something like this, but you can pick these up pretty cheap from eBay or AliExpress for like $5 or something like that. But would have been great if it came with the kit. But yeah, since I would try to restrain myself with all the parts that came with the kit instead of using these. Right, so movement. Another thing is you probably want a soft surface when you're doing your assembly so that you don't accidentally damage the movement. You can also use this, I suppose. So we will use that. Here we go. So this is our movement. So this is the typical NH35 movement. So you can see, oh, okay, so it's already came. So you can wind. Here we go. Oh, okay, great. All right, so we got our movement. All right, so here is our dial. And it looks pretty good, if I must say. All right, so first I need to remove this dial from the thing. So this is where the pegwoods come in handy, so you don't accidentally damage anything. Here we go. So you can just grab the dial with your finger cut. And you sort of wiggle it a bit. Just take it nice and slow so you don't damage the dial. So here we go. So one came out. Chuck it out there. Okay, we want to take out this one too. Right. So now that's taken out. Now what you want to do is you want to line this up with the date like this, and it should fit nicely into this hole here. Hopefully you can see it. So there should be a little hole here, and the other side will fit. So what you just want to do is you just want to press it down slightly. And voila, we got our dial into the movement. Okay, so step 2, we need to install the hands. So let's see. So now that we're done with step 1, step 2 is installing the hands. So first we need to set our time. There we go, and there we go. That's when we should stop. And so I failed with the tweezer, so I'm gonna use Radical instead. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try and align it just at the 12 o'clock. Oh dear, it's not quite it straight. Since we have already go. Alright, since we failed, I will show you what happened. What to do in the case that we do misalign our hands. So since I've got my hour hand, might as well grab the minute hand and do the alignment like this. So with the minute hand, you want to use a slightly a smaller diameter hand setting tool. So I'll just chuck it in like this. So I've got the minute hand off screen because it's very hard to get it on while recording. But essentially, you sort of want to make sure everything aligns. And that's a bit too early, so there's already a problem there. The second problem we have here is you can see here that the hands are not aligned. What is this? Here. You can see that they're not straight. So we'll need to make sure that they're lined up correctly. And what we can do is we can use these tools here for removing the hands to start again. So first you want to align the hands so that they're easy to remove. And then essentially what you want to do is you want to sort of slide this down sort of like this, and then you flick it off. But personally, I'm not a fan of this thing. I prefer to just use this here. And what I'll do is I'll just put it on top of the dial like this. And then we just go like this and pull it off. Okay, so I managed to put the hands on off screen because it was quite a struggle to put it on while being recorded. But essentially, you sort of want to check to make sure everything aligns. And then you want to do sort of a full rotation. And hopefully we should have a date change. Premature is fine, to be honest. And we just want to make sure it lines up almost perfectly, I suppose. I think that's good enough for now. Let's check the actual alignment. I think that is good enough for now. Now, I've actually taken a Seiko watch to a Seiko service center to be serviced, and it came back with sort of a misaligned hour and minute hand. So for example, when it's at 12 o'clock, the hour hand was still slightly to the left. So if an amateur like me can sort of align it to this degree, it's I think it's inexcusable for a professional to not be able to do it. Oh, that was perfect. And now we just need to finish the second hand. Okay, so the second hand. See that little needle there at the top? You sort of have to drop the second hand nicely into that needle and then push it down. It doesn't matter about the alignment since you can always hack it. I'll do this one off screen as well because it's quite a pain. Okay, so I'll put on the second hand off screen, as you can see here. So it's moving. So we'll just do one final check to make sure everything is all good. I'll just do one full rotation. One more time. Oh. Premature is fine. Yeah, I think we're fine. It's working fine. Now, the next step is we will need to case the movement. So we've done the handset. So what we need to do first is remove the stem and then put it into the case. And then we'll need to deal with the crown. Okay, so first we'll need to prepare the case. So here I have the case here. Beautiful case. We'll remove the crown first. It's a screw down crown. It's pretty cool. You can use an air blower to clean up any dust inside the case. Make sure you do this before you case the movement. Now, this is the tricky part. Removing the stem. Without a movement holder, it is tricky because you sort of need to put the movement upside down and press on this tiny lever here, somewhere here, in order to remove and then pull out the stem. So we do not have a movement holder with us, which makes things a bit complicated, but we do have this case back here. So what we can do is use that as a pseudo movement holder of sort. Hopefully that will fit. So let me just check if it does fit. I think it does. So first you need to make sure the crown is pushed all the way in. Then we rotate it, put it in here. This is not ideal, but it works. And then there is this lever right here, this tiny one. Oh, bloody hell. This tiny one right here. Oh my god, it's so hard to see when you're not actually. Oh my lord. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Just to be very careful. And that's our crown there. Whoa. Still look good. Still looks good. Now normally how you would case this is, instead of putting it like this, it's actually easier to sort of let's reuse this, use this as a base. Then all we have to do now that it's in, let's get our crown sorted. We'll just leave that there for now. Alright, where were we? So I put the crown onto the stem in the background. The stem length wasn't quite right, so I had to cut it and adjust it. Hopefully it should fit now. So we just need to put on over on the other side. Now what we just need to do is simply insert it in gently, just like that. And voila. That's it. Now the last step is, actually, what is the last step? Step 5 is, so step 4, we just gone through step 4, and we put in the stem, Now we just need to chuck in the case back, and that's it. We've got our case back here. Now before we put the case back, we need to put in this gasket to help with the waterproof. So we just want to put a nice lid there. And put it on top. Like that. And finally, we want to tighten it using this tool. Now, normally you can just put it on top like that, but in order to prevent any scratches, I recommend you do this, and then you can sort of there we go. So in. And that is our completed product. Looks pretty good. Now that we have our fully assembled watch, let's quickly review it. First, let's start with the dimensions and specs. The case diameter is about 37mm. The thickness is 11.6mm, including the watch glass. The lug width is 19mm, and the lug-to-lug distance is 44mm. For the watch glass, we have a top hat box crystal with clear AR coating. Water resistant wise, there's no official rating, but since the watch has a screw down crown and case back, it should be fine if you were to take it for a swim. For the movement, this watch is running with the Seiko NH35 movement. As we all know, the NH35 is an entry-level Seiko workhorse movement that is often used by micro brands. It's a pretty basic but fairly reliable movement. The accuracy range for this movement is -30 to +40 seconds per day. For this particular watch, I measured running at +2 seconds per day. That is absolutely awesome for an unregulated movement. The beauty of having this kit is that you can just open up the case back and proceed to regulate it yourself if you're not happy with the accuracy. For the case, we have a rather dressy but also simple case design. The case is polished from top and bottom, and we've got a flat bezel with a nice chamfer edge to it. The case back, which you have already seen, is pretty boring. I think there's some missed opportunity here to provide an exhibition case back in this kit to match with the dressy case. The crown is polished and matches with the design of the case. It is unsigned but very smooth to the touch and very comfortable to operate. For the strap, we've got a pretty rigid black leather strap. The strap tapers from 19mm to 18mm. I think it would have been nicer if it tapers to 16mm instead. One plus point for the Namoki branding on the back of the strap, but I'm a bit disappointed that there's no branding on the buckle. As for the dial, we got a blue textured dial for the base and then a set of GS style apply indices. Below the 12 o'clock, we got the Namoki logo, then the automatic text printed above the 6 o'clock and a frame date window at the 3 o'clock position. Plus point for the frame date window, since Seiko don't even do them these days unless the watch costs over $1,000. For the handset, we've got a set of polished dolphin hands for the hour and minute, and a needle hand for the second. Finally, we have printed minute markers around the edge of the dial. Overall, the quality of the dial seems to be on par with Seiko watches. Another positive point is that the rehole is very thin, which adds a more premium feel to this watch. As for the wrist fit, most sub 40mm watches fit pretty nicely on my 6.2-inch wrist, and this one is no different. The leather strap is not the most comfortable strap I've had on, but it's not too bad. So what are my thoughts about this watch, and more importantly, the whole watchmaking kit? Well, overall, I definitely feel positive about it, but there are a few things I hope Namoki can improve on. The biggest letdown for me was the tools. It's the same kit you can order from eBay or AliExpress for a lot cheaper. With the added premium, better quality tools should have been offered, or at least some more tools to help with the build like the movement holder. There's also a missed opportunity here to add some Namoki branded tools. The other minus point was the instruction. It is very bare bone and sort of inefficient. It's definitely enough for someone who likes to tinker, but it's not quite enough for those who are less crafty. Certain steps like the hand installation can definitely be expanded upon. Besides the somewhat underwhelming kit, the parts themselves are top notch. The case is beautifully finished, The dial and hands are on par with most Seiko Prasad watches. And of course, the biggest pro you get out of this kit is the basic knowledge around watchmaking and modding. It's definitely a great solution for those who are interested in starting this hobby. And that brings us to the end of this video. What do you think about this watchmaking kit? Would you be interested in getting one yourself? If you already tried any of the kits that Namoki has to offer or bought parts from their website before, feel free to drop a comment down below and let us know about your experience. I hope this video helped you in some ways. If you find it enjoyable or helpful, please drop a like and subscribe for future videos. As a growing channel, I really appreciate your support. Until next time!